Good day, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. It's yet another bright early week. This week and the next couple of weeks, I want us to look at taking a couple of challenges. Because if you're like me, I'm desiring and aspiring to go into that next dimension, next level of glory, next level of impact, next level of influence, next level financially, next level relationally, next level. And I want to thrive at that next level. So there's things that we can say, there's things that we know, there's things that we can be aware that we need to do and everything. But this time I want us to go into a space of doing, preparing to excel in that next dimension. So today I'll be talking about taking a challenge. And I'm going to do 4 series to drive us into taking those challenges, because I want us to challenge ourselves mentally, to challenge ourselves spiritually, to challenge ourselves emotionally, and to challenge ourselves emotionally. Right? So mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Ultimately, all humans, whether we like it or not, we are fast spiritual. Okay? And above the layer is the layer of our mental, of our soul, of our will, of our mind. Okay? And that's a very powerful layer in us, because it drives our will to do things. Okay. So I'm going to start with taking our challenge mentally. Take a challenge mentally. Why is it important to develop our mental fortitude? It's because it prepares us to be able to uptake, withstand, focus, and deliver and execute results in dimensions we never thought possible. Interestingly, our mental fortitude is developed mostly in instances of uncertainty or adversity. Yeah. And life throws these things at us. And rather than waiting for life to throw certain things at us and curveballs in order to, out of those experiences, have our minds and our wills and our mental fortitude developed, I want us to consciously take a challenge to develop our mental fortitude, to stretch our minds and our will, and to be able to develop it to a level that it can move and expect and operate at a higher dimension. Isn't that exciting? As you begin your week and as you go about your assignments, your work, your business, your ministry, whatever it is you set out to do day to day, I'd like you to reflect on whether you really want or would like to embark on this challenge, which is to stretch and develop your mental ability to that next dimension. I'm already taking this challenge. And remember, the mental growth, developing your mental fortitude, implies that you're going to take up a challenge that would stretch you in areas or circumstances that may seem difficult, because then you will push through and stretch and tap into that mental ability and capability that you never thought was possible. So this is what I would like you to do as you embark on your week. I'm going to lay a few things that can help you to develop your mental attitude and mental fortitude and stretch you to that next dimension, because it's going to be critical if you're really going to thrive in levels you never thought was possible. Most people just want to go into that next level of possibility without preparing mentally for that next level. So I'd like you to choose a task. Not just any task, but a task that invokes a level of difficulty for you. Not a task that's easy for you to do, but a task that is relatively difficult for you to do. And this task can be in an area of your choice. It can be a physical task, it can be a project, it can be, an assignment you want to do. You can just choose a task. One task. Don't choose for this exercise of taking a mental challenge. Just choose one task. A task that poses for you a level of difficulty. In fact, if you're like me, I have chosen a task that I actually thought was impossible for me to do. A task in an area that I don't like and that I actually consider impossible, but I've seen others do. Because I want to embark in a whole new dimension of my mental ability and capability and my fortitude. So choose a task in an area of your choice, but with a task that has a level of difficulty. Okay? And write it down, take note of it, and then number 2, commit. Commit to accomplishing that task and give it a timeline. So don't take an open-ended task of I will be a better person in life. How will you measure that, really? Take a task that is specific with a time that's time-bound. Okay? Give it a time period, okay, in which you want to complete that task. Choose a task, okay, and then commit to that task. After you do that, when you make that commitment, and commitment is mental, remember this is mental. However difficult it looks, it's mental already. You may not even think that it is possible to achieve that task. That's okay. Okay? Right? And then set out the things that you need to do, develop, adjust in your life in order to accomplish that task. All right? Some things may not be comfortable, but when you make the commitment, stick with it. Stick with it. You'll be surprised at the capability that your brain and your mind and your body has. You'll be so surprised. You'll be so surprised. Okay? So number 3, determine the things that you will need to do or put in place or adjust or get in order to accomplish that task. Right? The 4th thing that I'd like you to think about this week is that together with that commitment, you will make a commitment for discipline. That you will discipline yourself to walk the talk. To walk the talk. After I highlight this 6 steps that I'm thinking that we need to put in place, I will then say why I feel it's extremely crucial that we develop that mental fortitude at this time in our lives. So after you have made the commitment to do this, you've again determined what you need to do, put in place, adjust, align in order to do these tasks. Get into the discipline. And that's already mental conditioning. You've got to commit to be disciplined, to walk the talk, and to see this task to completion, even when you feel like you want to quit. Okay? We must stretch our mental fortitude. We must grow it if we're going to thrive at that next level, that next dimension that we don't even know what it comes with. So the 5th thing is to acquire a positive attitude towards this task. Obviously, if you've chosen a task with a level of difficulty, or like in my case, one that seems impossible to do, but I know is possible, right? A task in an area that I am sure is very difficult for me, at least from where I sit. You then need to develop a positive attitude towards this task. Develop. It may not come at a go. You may need to make some steps towards it in the beginning and then find a point in that place or in that task that triggers something that you're passionate about or that you like within that task, that then carries you and maintains your positive attitude. And I'll share with you an example of what I'm doing. And then the sixth part is to act. You must move into action. You must move into action. So I'd love you to have a start date and an end date of this task. And do not push that start date beyond one time. Okay? Start. You must move into action. Right? Now, why do I think it's extremely important to be able to develop your mental fortitude, your mental ability to stretch your mind, stretch your will? Why is it very important? Because a lot of times we walk through and journey through life without assurance of what we will find on our path, and that's life. So on our path we find pleasant surprises, sometimes we find unpleasant surprises. A lot of times we find serious curveballs that can even cause people to die, to lose it, to break down, to go into depression, because you had not developed the capacity and the coping mechanism to withstand some of the pressures and the curveballs that can come at us. Some people have given way, left life because of some of the things that were thrown at them. While life teaches us and trains us as we go along the journey, we can also take the initiative to build that mental fortitude, the willpower, the ability to stretch and adapt and to withstand certain levels of curveballs that are thrown at us. So for me, I'll share with you. For me, I've chosen a task in an area, and I hardly use this word called hate because I don't have such strong emotions. I think they're not healthy. But one that in my past life I would describe a task in an area that I hate. Okay? I don't like, to do this kind of activity. And this is hiking. I don't feel like I need to endure such. For some people it's exciting and a thrill. For me it's not. I find like it's enduring, it's boring, it's tiring. And I think that I can take other paths to achieve health, fitness, beauty, enjoyment of nature than take that journey or take that path. Okay? Scaling up a mountain is less anything that I would want to do in my life, right? So the task that I have chosen to take is to scale a mountain, Mount Kenya. I do not like to hike. I know the level of difficulty and discipline that it requires in order to achieve that task is phenomenal. I know there's very many challenges along the way, and there's a lot of uncertainties. There's never a straight path. There's going to be definitely lots of curveballs and things that are so unforeseen. And the level of difficulty is guaranteed, But I feel for the dimension of the next season of my life, I want to be able to stretch my mental ability to be able to withstand any curveball that is thrown at me and be able to overcome and succeed it. Okay? Now, I have done the things that I'm asking you to do. I'm already in the process of doing the 6 things. I've chosen the task. I have put a time limit to it. I have made the commitment. I have determined the things I need to do, the things I need to change, the things I must adjust, the things I must take. And they're not easy. The level of discipline with a crazy schedule. Some of you will choose tasks that are seeming impossible to do simply because of your schedule and your timelines. My schedule and my timelines is absolutely crazy. And I almost felt like I was setting myself up for failure by choosing a task like this with my schedule. But I have put that level of commitment and the discipline it requires, and it's forcing me to adjust my schedule to accommodate what I must do to accomplish and the discipline I must take into place. So you must do that, okay? And it's going to not just develop your mental ability, but your character to another dimension never seen before. I can't wait to see the growth that I will have made and that you will have made at the point that you accomplish this particular task. You can never be the same again, for sure. The attitude, you can imagine, my attitude towards hiking and walking has had to take a 360-degree turn, honestly speaking. And I just asked myself, how would I be able to change that attitude towards this thing that I really don't like to do? I never liked, would never have done till I die, to be honest, other than taking up this challenge and being very intentional about what I'm choosing to do. Okay? But what I realized is I have connected one passion of mine to this task to be able to help me to realign how I feel about this assignment and how I feel about this task and the attitude with which I carry. And that passion is my passion for nature, my passion for greenery, for plants, for landscapes, for sceneries. I have then coupled this into this task because I know no matter how difficult and crazy this assignment and task gets, I will probably and most likely get to see the most beautiful sceneries that ever exist on earth, experience nature in ways never experienced before. The stillness right in the midst of nature are things that I'm likely to experience. And so it's helping me to condition my attitude towards this task, to be able to have that positive attitude to carry forward. Lastly, I've already taken action. I did what I never thought was possible. And I tell you, the minute you stretch your mind, you will encounter things you never, ever thought possible. I already scaled my fast climb. I have to do 5 mountain climbs before I do Mount Kenya. And I've already scaled one already. 2,598 meters above sea level. Crazy. 3 summits I had to go up to. And by the time I was on the slopes of the first summit, I was ready to give up. I've never quit in my life. I don't know the word called impossible. But at the slopes of the first summit, I actually said it was impossible. I didn't think I could do it. It was the most difficult thing looking up at a thing I don't like. And it was rough, very steep, very rough terrain. Like walking up a wall. It was like, honestly, a very difficult situation. I almost cried and I had tears in my eyes when I looked at the first mountain and I knew that I had 3 more summits to do. But I stretched my willpower and scaled the first summit. And when I hit the first summit, I looked at the second mountain I was to climb and I almost cried again. I had muscle pulls, I had calf balls that I'd never thought before, places that you have to pass, things that I've never imagined that you need to climb. I mean, how do you climb a steep vertical process of a mountain with 3 muscle pulls on your leg in a forest that has paths that you have to clear as you go? I mean, it was ridiculous. There's no one who can ever prepare you for the unknown. And it was mental fortitude and willpower that pushed me and pushed me and pushed me through 11 kilometers of mountain to the end. And that was the first climb. And I'm yet to do 4 other climbs, including Mount Kenya. So I can tell you for sure, take a task. Look at a task that has a level of difficulty. If you really want to operate at a high dimension, when you can withstand things beyond what you thought was possible, then you'll be able to see at the end of the task that you choose. Keep disciplined. Even when you want to quit, keep at it. When your body seems, for me, when the process seems like you can't move on, things are working against what it is you felt was going to be possible. Okay? When I came back from the mountain, I couldn't believe that I have another climb in exactly 10 days after. And I have to continue to maintain the discipline and do the daily things I need to do to get to it. Okay? You push yourself. So I look forward to who you become in character, the kind of mindset, the kind of mind and willpower you get after you take your challenge, and the character that you build along the way. And I had to learn how to scale and move in these difficult terrains from the most humble people people who were teaching me, and my life was actually in their hands. And it brings your character development to another dimension when even as a teacher, you become a student. And in humility, you learn from those you didn't even think you would learn from. So take the challenge and stretch your mind. Have a blessed week.